Hi honeybees, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Ciara. I do videos on lifestyle and finance, and I am a full-time mortgage loan officer. I've helped hundreds to buy homes and build wealth, so I take everything I've learned and I share it with you to empower you and help you to build wealth also. So I'm going to talk about how to become a loan officer in less than 30 days. You heard me right. How to get licensed and become a loan officer in less than 30 days. Or if you already have your license and you want to get licensed in other states, then this video will help you learn how you can do that in less than 30 days as well. So what I found is that becoming a loan officer is really hot right now. Like, loan officer jobs are popping. A lot of people want to do it because there is unlimited earning potential. There's a lot of work-life flexibility. You can create your own schedule and work from home once you've reached that point, and you're making a meaningful impact in the economy and on people's lives by helping them to acquire their homes and to buy real estate and investment. And it's a really fulfilling, profitable job. It's really in demand right now. When I became a loan officer, it literally changed my life, and I can never look back, because at this point I love somewhat being my own boss and creating my own schedule. I just can't picture going back to like a desk job, a 9-to-5 desk job. It's afforded me so much flexibility, not just with my schedule and being able to do YouTube now full time, but also financially. It has helped me to make a financial breakthrough, and it's completely done a 360 in my life. So I want to encourage all of you who would like to become loan officers that you can do it. It's not as hard as you may think, and you can actually do it fairly quickly. So if you want to know how to become a loan officer and get licensed in less than 30 days, stay tuned. Before I get into it, really quick, I want to direct your attention to my loan officer playlist. If you are a current loan officer or a future loan officer, or you're just curious about the career in the industry, I have an entire playlist of videos where I answer y'all's questions about it. I talk about how to become one, how to get started, how to be successful, how much you make, all those details. So definitely check that playlist out. Okay, so what is a mortgage loan officer? Under the SAFE Act, an MLO is a licensed individual or institution that works with a borrower to complete a mortgage transaction. Simply put, as a loan officer, you help people buy houses. Now, you're probably wondering, why would I want to get my license in 30 days? Why is it so important? Why would I rush this? I'll tell you why. So the first reason, and probably the main reason for a lot of people, is that the sooner you become licensed, the sooner you can actually become a loan officer and start getting paid as a loan officer. Before you pass your licensing test, you cannot operate as a loan officer. You have to be licensed. So the sooner that you become licensed, then the sooner you can start making money. Now, the second reason is for those people who already are a licensed loan officer in their state they work in, and let's say they may want to branch out and do business in another state. Getting licensed in multiple states actually allows you to make more money because you can service more borrowers. Now is actually a really great time to break into the industry because rates are so low. And what I've found is that I even have to turn away business sometimes because I'm not licensed in every state that people want to buy houses in. So the more states you get licensed in, the more borrowers you can service and the more money you can make. So if you're a current loan officer, I would suggest starting with your current sphere of influence and branch out from there. If you live in Texas and you do loans in Texas, do you possibly have family in California? Do you have family in Florida maybe? Are you friends with somebody in Ohio? Really evaluate what networks you can branch out into, what states you may be able to take advantage of, and then watch this video because I'm gonna tell you how to quickly get licensed in these other states. So if you do have a client that has a loyal friend or family member in another state, that wants you to help them with their loan and you're not licensed there, guess what? You can't do that loan for them and you miss out on that money, on that commission. And so if you feel like you may have an opportunity to do business in multiple states, it's better to spend a little bit of money to get licensed, fulfill the requirements in another state, and then that way you're able to start generating another, source of income, another area from which you can get business. Okay, so how do you become a loan officer? What are the steps? Now, requirements vary by state, which I'll talk about more in a little bit. So I'll give you a general overview of the steps that you'll need to take to become a loan officer, and then I will break those steps down even more. So first, you have to register with the NMLS. Secondly, you have to find an approved provider who can provide access to pre-licensing education. Then you have to complete that specific state's education requirements. After that, you pass the national exam, and then you apply for licensure through the NMLS. So that's what you do. But how are you going to do it in less than 30 days? So I did mention that requirements vary by state. So those are the general steps, but there may be a few things that are different depending on what state that you are applying for licensure in. So let's use Florida as an example. So those same steps that I gave you, this is what you would do if you wanted to get licensed in Florida. You would first apply for your NMLS account number and ID. Then you would complete your pre-licensure education. After that, you'll have to pass the national licensing exam. And then in Florida, you have to do a background check and then pay your fees. So you would then apply for your Florida mortgage license, and then your NMLS ID number will then get associated with your employer, and you are a licensed loan officer in Florida. Okay, so you guys keep hearing me throwing around this word NMLS. What is NMLS? NMLS is this huge database that keeps track of all the loan officers, all the companies, all the licensing requirements, documents, things like that. Each loan officer has their own unique NMLS ID. Like I said, the first step is to register for an account on the NMLS website and to apply for your ID number if your state requires it. So to do this, you're going to go to the NMLS website, nationwideLicensingSystem.org. I will leave that linked below for you guys. Okay, so to do this, you're going to go to the NMLS website. You're going to click on the state that you want to apply for licensure in. Then click on the state agency that you're licensing through. Then you want to scroll down to the bottom where it says MLO license, and then click New Application on the right side to find the requirements. Most states actually don't require current licensed MLOs to redo a credit or background check. The most important part of the checklist is the education requirement. Each state requires an application fee, which varies. You will be able to look up all of their educational requirements so that you can start planning appropriately to register for that and to find a provider. So what education do you need for your specific state? All states require a minimum of 20 hours of NMLS approved pre-licensed education. So the first thing you want to do is register for your NMLS ID and register an account with the NMLS. Then you want to make sure you understand your state's specific education requirements so you can plan accordingly. The next thing that you need to do is know what the cost is. And I advise that you know both the financial cost and the time cost. So let's use the Florida example again. So Florida, for example, has a 2-hour state-specific elective. The pre-licensure course through Mortgage Educators will cost you $39.98. And if you're licensed in another state, then this is the only added education you'll need. But aside from education, other costs include a $195 application fee, $30 processing fee, $36.25 federal criminal background check, $24 state criminal background check, and a $15 credit report fee. So this totals to $340.23 for all licensing fees. Now, your company may or may not pay for it. This is another question that I get a lot. When I became a loan officer and I was getting my pre-licensure education and getting licensed, my company did cover either all or most of it, but you'll want to definitely talk to HR or somebody at your company, and it's very company specific, so they may or may not. I would say that if they don't let that discourage you. Do what you need to do to come up with the money to pay the fees so that you can get licensed, because it's definitely worth it. Make sure you understand these costs, because if you are responsible for paying your fees, you're gonna have to make sure that you budget it into, your expenses for the month, and also that may be a reason why you have to wait. It's great to get your license in under 30 days, but if you're not able to because of the fees, that's understandable. That's why I say at the beginning, before you do anything, make sure you understand the costs and the time costs and everything that goes into it. Okay, so the time costs, you'll definitely want to make sure that you understand this part. I'm going to talk more about how to break down a timeline to getting licensed in less than 30 days. But once you understand that, you can look at your own schedule and determine, how quickly you're going to be able to do this, or if it's going to take you a little bit longer. You're going to actually have to budget the time cost. So the time it's going to take you to do all of these steps. Is it something that you can do while you're also working full time? Is it something you're gonna have to take off work? Do you have a family and children? Are you gonna have to mold around their schedule? Understanding the time cost is super important before you really start on this journey, because if you're gonna do it in less than 30 days, it's totally doable, but you're gonna have to make sure that you stick to your timeline. So next, you're gonna have to find a provider to take your 20-hour pre-licensure course. You guys ask me all the time, what's the best place or where did I take mine? I took mine with a company called Mortgage Educators. Mortgage Educators is actually a one-stop online resource for all things mortgage training and education. So for those obtaining their first NMLS license, they offer state-specific mortgage loan originator license courses that satisfy national and state-specific requirements in a single package. They also offer tailored course bundles for existing loan officers if you're entering a new state, and national or state-specific continuing education courses. I will link them below. I've talked about them in previous videos. I did use them when I was doing my pre-licensure, and I really enjoyed using them. They're really the best in the business, and they offer, licensing resources in multiple states. So you'll definitely want to check them out if you are looking to do your pre-licensure. I even still do my continuing education with them, and they're all around a really great company with so many offerings. So like I said, I will link it below. Definitely check out Mortgage Educators. I'm also going to be doing a giveaway through Mortgage Educators, so make sure that you keep watching to the end and you check the description box, because they are going to be giving away a dope prize to one of you guys. But yeah, definitely check them out. They're great for your pre-licensing education, as well as if you're already a loan officer and you want to do continuing education, because you do have to do continuing education every year. So I do my 8-hour CE with them every year. But then also, if you're already a loan officer and you do want to get licensed in other states, they offer a lot of resources for this. Very affordable, and the training is very thorough, because obviously I passed my test on the first try. And I think a big part of that was because I used Mortgage Educators, and because their system is so thorough. It's so great. It's very well rated, and I definitely encourage you guys, if you are interested in becoming a loan officer, or if you are already one, definitely check them out. Okay, so what does the 20-hour course consist of? So Chapter 1 is going to be about becoming a mortgage loan officer. Chapter 2 is learning the products and the programs. Chapter 3 is initial application. Chapter 4 is processing and underwriting. Chapter 5 is closing and funding. Chapter 6 is mortgage ethics. So the way Mortgage Educators does it is there is a 5-day track you can do for your pre-licensing course, or there's a 12-day track. Now, if you're trying to get your license in under 30 days, you could do either one and still get licensed in under 30 days. I did the 5-day track, and for me that was the best because I just wanted to get it out the way with, and that helped me to get my license quicker. But if you're one of those people and you really want to take your time and you want to spread it out more, then you can definitely still do the 12-day course and still be on track to get licensed in less than 30 days. And I'm going to talk about that more later in the video. So after you have registered with the NMLS, you've done all your research on the education requirements, the cost, then you've taken your pre-licensure course with mortgage educators, then you have to pass the national exam. Now, all applicants, regardless of state, are required to pass this test for state licensure. If you've taken the exam since 2014, then you likely don't need to take the exam again. If you took it before 2014, then you're likely going to have to take the exam again if you're already a loan officer and wanting to add another state or get licensed in another state. Now, if you do need to take the test again, this is how it's broken down. The test is broken down into 125 questions, of which you will be scored on 115 questions. The test is going to need to be passed with a 75% or higher. The areas you're going to be tested on are federal mortgage related laws, which is 23% of the test, general mortgage knowledge, which is 23% of the test, mortgage loan origination activities, 25% of the test, ethics, 16%, and uniform state content, which is 13%. So once you have taken your pre-licensure, you're going to want to make sure you give yourself some time to study, and then you're going to take the NMLS test. Now, I have an entire video telling you guys how I was able to pass my first try. And I also give you some test hacks and tips that can hopefully help you guys pass on your first try as well. There is a ton of information in there breaking down the entire test, tactics you'll need, test taking tips, all of that. So you're definitely going to want to check that video out. I will link it above and below. Being able to pass the test on your first try is essential to getting licensed in under 30 days. You won't be able to get licensed in under 30 days if you have to take it multiple times. So you really, really want to make sure you take it seriously and you study hard. Check out my video on study hacks and how to pass on the first try, and then you're good to go. Okay, so you've passed your test. Congratulations, you're not a loan officer just yet. So once you pass your test, then you have to actually apply for licensure. What is involved in actually applying for licensure varies from state to state, but in general, there are some commonalities in most loan officer licensing applications. So one is you're gonna have to do a criminal background check. Specifically, it's an FBI criminal history background check. You're simply just authorizing a background check. Then you also are going to have to authorize a credit check and identity verification. I don't know specifically everything that they look for. As far as I know, they don't disclose everything they check for. I don't know if they look at your score or not, or if that plays into a factor. I don't think it does, but again, that is going to vary from state to state. But you'll definitely have to have a criminal background check and a credit check. And all you're going to do is authorize them to do those checks. Then you're going to have to make sure you have company sponsorship. So you cannot be actively licensed unless you are employed by a company. And so what they're going to do is make sure that the company is able to attest to the fact that you work for them, and then you will be able to get licensed because you are connected to a employer or a sponsor. And then you'll have to answer a series of disclosure questions. These are usually related to money laundering, felony charges, conflicts of interest, fraud charges, things like that. They just have a lot of different disclosure questions they're going to ask you, and you have to make sure that you answer truthfully on those. And that is everything that you have to do to become a licensed loan officer. You are done. You have done everything you need to do to be licensed, and you just wait to get confirmation that your licensure was approved. Okay, so I've broken down in detail how you can become a loan officer and the steps needed to get licensed for the first time or licensed in other states. Now, let's talk about how you're gonna do this in less than 30 days. So, in order to do this in less than 30 days, you're gonna have to stick to a strict timeline. Here is a timeline I came up with that will help you to do all of this in less than 30 days. And you could even do it as quickly as 2 weeks. Research, register, gather all documents, enroll in course and pay fees, and put together your study plan in 1 to 2 days. Totally doable. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. So researching the requirements and registering with the NMLS, getting all your documents together, you really should be able to do that in less than an hour, maybe 30 minutes at the most. And then enrolling in your course is fairly quickly, and paying your fees, at least with mortgage educators it is. So you can really do all this on the same day. Take 2 days, you can break it up into 2 days and do like all your NMLS website stuff one day, and then do all your pre-licensure registering and paying for it another day. But you can totally do it in the same day. It literally doesn't take that long. You really could do all of that within 1 hour if you wanted. But, life gets in the way sometimes. So if you need to, take a couple days. But this part should be no more than 1 to 2 days. Okay, and then you're gonna take your pre-licensure course. Now, with mortgage educators, I was telling you guys how there's a 5-day track and a 12-day track. So there's only 2 options here. You're either gonna take 5 days to do your 20-hour course, or you're going to take 12 days. I did 5 days. I really liked it that way. I blocked out my schedule and I did it in the period between when I was hired and when I started my first day, which also happened to be like over a Christmas break holiday, so I didn't have too much going on. I was able to just work on my course every day, and I knocked it out in 5 days and I was done. If you need 12 days, then that's completely fine. So your pre-licensure should take either 5 days or 12 days. So the next part is studying and taking the test. What I recommend is 14 to 20 days. So the test is just 1 day. The test doesn't take the entire day, but it's just 1 day that you would carve out to actually take the test. Everything else should be studying. And I advise studying every day, but you can create your own study plan within that time period. If you want some tips on how to create a study plan, then definitely check out that video I did on passing the NMLS test on your first try. But yeah, preparing for and taking the test should be about 14 days to 20 days, whichever you feel more comfortable with. So then once you've taken the test and you've passed, you're going to complete the rest of your application requirements, which include some of those things I was telling you guys about: authorizing the background check and the credit check, the identity verification, disclosure questions. This must be a state-specific thing, but I had to do fingerprinting, so that may also be something you have to do. All of these things should take no more than 4 to 7 days. Doing the authorizations and disclosure questions are literally clicks of a button on the website. That should take you no more than 10 to 15 minutes at the absolute most. If you're required to do any kind of fingerprinting or get things notarized, then you'll have to do that based on, your work schedule and when the facilities are open and things like that. But if you want to get your license in under 30 days, this should take about 4 to 7 days at the most. So then you just wait for your licensure, which if you've been following that timeline, then that's probably going to be anywhere from like 3 days to a week, but you don't have to do anything. You just wait for it. Based on that breakdown, I'll share with you guys a exact timeline. It's similar to what I did, and this will help you guys if you want to do the setup and get your license in 30 days or less, similar to how I did. For the first part, register with the NMLS, enroll in your pre-licensure, 2 days. Complete your pre-licensure, 5 days. Study and take the test, 20 days. For me, I chose to spend less time on the pre-licensure and more time studying. You may be one of those people where you want to spend more time on the pre-licensure, less time studying. It's completely up to you. But I would do 20 days. So 2 days for registering and enrolling in pre-licensure, 5 days for pre-licensure, 20 days for studying and taking the test, and then completing remaining requirements, submitting documents, and waiting to become licensed, 3 days. So all of this allows you to become a licensed loan officer in 30 days or less. Whew. So yeah, that's how you become a loan officer in 30 days or less. You could be licensed in as little as 2 weeks. How you do it will be completely up to you. And again, you have to take into account your lifestyle, your budget, your time that you have available, and how quickly you need to become licensed. If you're already a loan officer and wanting to become licensed in another state, doing it quickly this way is great because you're not having to take time away from work, or you're not having to take a lot of time away from your current work as a loan officer and missing out on deals and money. So I hope that was really helpful for you guys. I am doing a giveaway in partnership with Mortgage Educators. We are going to be giving away a computer monitor. We did a giveaway before where we gave away a computer monitor, and that worked out so good. Those of you who are loan officers know the importance of being able to have 2 computer screens. It really just helps you work more efficiently. So for those of you who are wanting to become loan officers, this can be really, really helpful for you. Even if you're not a loan officer, a monitor can be really helpful for you in any career. So I will leave the requirements or the rules below for the giveaway, and I definitely encourage all of you to check it out and to enter. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell button for notifications, because I respond to all comments in the first 24 hours of posting a video. So if you don't have those notifications on, you may miss that time period. And if you have a comment or a question you really want me to see or answer, you may miss your chance. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you hit the bell button for notifications, and if this helped you, please do me a favor and give me a like and comment below. It really does help me out. If you guys have more questions on becoming a loan officer, make sure you check my playlist first, and if there's something I did not cover that you want me to address, answer, or cover, leave that in the comment section below, and I will use that to, come up with my next loan officer video. Make sure to check Mortgage Educators out as well. They're a great company, and I think it's a great option for you who want to get licensed, especially in under 30 days. Check them out, enter the giveaway. I love you guys to the bank and back, and I will see you in my next video.